3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders. These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade. Wow, I'd love to get in on this. Technical insights that really look good to me. Here we go. We're live. Well, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another live stream. Hope you're doing well. Let me just make sure everything is situated on the camera side of things. Today is Wednesday. It is November 17th. We are coming towards the end of the year, which is kind of crazy, man. It is. It feels like it's been a fast year, but it's been a very lots of progress for me on my end this last year. I hope you guys feel like the same. 2020 was a rough year for a lot of people. 2021 was definitely a comeback for some, but in other ways, still kind of a tough year. But either ways, in terms of trading, there's been some really good setups, and 2021 has been one of my better trading years. And recently, with this US dollar strength, things have just kept going and going and going and been really, really good. If we take a quick look here, starting out today with the DXY, that dollar, man, it does not want to quit, right? It just keeps going and going. I feel like the dollar move here that we're seeing is something that's been kind of in progress, kind of been waiting to happen for a substantial amount of time. And what I mean by that is, let's just take a quick look, like a macro scale look at the dollar, right? If you look at the dollar, what happened back in 2020, speaking in reference to some of that craziness that we saw last year, right? We saw during 2020 a roller coaster on the dollar. So the DXY, for those of you guys who are newer to my streams and you haven't seen the DXY before, the DXY is like the US dollar currency index, okay? And so when we look at this, right, we saw this massive dip initially in the dollar, right? And then, we saw January start out strong for the dollar, and then all of a sudden we dropped like crazy. Then the dollar spiked insanely, right, towards right around March and going into April, right around that time where we had the stock market drop like crazy. But then since then, we've seen the dollar do sort of this really, really big decline. And part of the reaction to this was, oh my gosh, the Fed is going to have to print so much money in order to pay back, businesses, to keep businesses alive, and to, send out those stimulus checks, right? Sending out stimulus checks across the board, not just in the US, but all over the world. There was stimulus being, done to keep things afloat, right? That caused the dollar to dramatically decline. But then sort of in the last phase of recovery here, or not the last phase, but you know what I mean? Like the last period of time that we've been looking at it, part of the reason that I've been bullish on the dollar is because things have been progressively getting better in terms of unemployment rate dropping and GDP growth coming back to normal, people getting back to work, right? Those things are good for the economy. And so now we've shifted into this period of time where we basically are seeing central banks looking to step back towards rate hikes. They're looking to go back on the other direction, right? Things have normalized a little bit, and now banks are looking to sort of go for that higher interest rate hike, right? Because printing stimulus and causing inflation is not something that central banks want to do long term. It's something that they sort of had to do short term, and now there is some confidence coming into the dollar in reaction to the strength or that positive outlook that the Fed is probably going to look to continue tightening monetary policy and maybe even look to raise rates sooner than expected. That's why the dollar has been so incredibly strong, and partially why I have been so bullish on the dollar for the last several weeks. So let me just make sure I'm reading some of you guys' comments here this morning. Thank you, by the way, for being here. For those of you who come every day and you hang out in the streams, you guys are awesome. It's always cool just to have people who show up and keep doing analysis with me throughout the week and just keep coming back. Thanks, Nick, for sharing knowledge. Because of you, I can make money consistently. Hey, you know what? It's not because of me. It's because of you, right? You showing up, you putting in the hours, you putting in the work. I can't do that stuff for you. You've got to do it for yourself. And you being here and putting in the effort, that is up to you. And so good for you. Good for you if you're reaching the point where you're starting to see consistency and you're improving in your trading. So good morning. Good morning from the London session. We got people from all over the world. Bro, I literally just finished watching the previous live, and here you go live. Nice time. Hey, nice. I'm glad that you tuned into the previous one as well. So yeah, let's talk about this dollar move a little bit more, and then we'll start taking a look at some currency pairs. Now, the thing I will say here is if we get this regression trend, which, if you've been watching my stuff the last few weeks or so, or last week or so, I've been playing around with this regression trend line. And so what I want to point out here is that this is the DXY on the daily chart, right? This is a higher time frame view of the dollar. And when we look at this, right, the dollar has been really, really strong, but it does look like it may be ready to peak. Now, when I say that, let me be very cautious, because a lot of traders will hear that and be like, oh, okay, so I should short the dollar. And I am not a fan of shorting the dollar at all right now. Like, there's no reason I would be shorting, even though this thing looks like it may be a little tired and a little bit stretched to the upside. Again, that doesn't always hold true. And sometimes you get these insane breakouts and things can just keep going and going. I am bullish on this. I've been only taking long trades on the dollar for the last several months here. And so that is, for me, I'm only looking for long setups. But what that does mean is that I may not be so interested in taking additional long setups when price is all the way up here, right? I'd like to see price normalize. I'd like to see price pull back to maybe, fair value at the center of this trend line, or just, even stretch into that oversold status. But again, I'm not in a rush to do so, because I do currently have a dollar position open. And you guessed it, if you've been watching my streams, you watch my content, of course, I am still short on AUD/USD. Are you kidding me? I've been shorting this thing consistently for the last 2 weeks or so. And, some have worked better than others, but we'll just recap kind of where I've been with this. So let me see. Yeah. So I ended up shorting here, right? And covering here. So we took that trade. Then I shorted here. I covered for just a little bit better than break even here. That was just a break even trade. We'll keep going. You can see, and by the way, I'm looking at these orders. These are orders from my broker that I'm logged into here on TradingView. And so bam, and then all the way down here, bam, that was probably one of my better trades in the last few weeks. And then now I'm currently sitting back into another position on the short side. I mean, this thing is just setting them up for me to a point where I kind of have to take advantage. I have to take those shots when I see them. So I've been just trading AUD/USD over and over and over. I'm currently floating $220 on this trade, which I know is not that big, but I've kept my position sizes small, and there's a purpose behind that. I don't like to risk a lot of my account when I take trades. I like to risk small, and I like to manage risk. So from here, a cool spot to be in, because my trade is now locked in on break even, and I am actually considering moving my stop loss. In fact, if you're looking at AUD/USD here with me today, if you're inside of the group, I will be sharing my updated stop loss at some point here during the day. I will be trailing some profit in on this. So officially going to be a profitable trade on this one. Of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, inside of our private Discord, every trade that I take, whether it's a long, short, whatever currency pair, entry, exit, stop loss, all that stuff, I share it inside of the Discord. And let me see if I can show you what that kind of looks like. So here you go. So here is the Discord where I share all the trades. So this is the... I said I'm yet again back in on a AUD/USD short, because I've just been shorting this thing so much recently. I mean, everything I feel like has just been, I took this was a one loss that I took on GBPUSD. But outside of that, the last 2 weeks or so, all I've been doing is taking this similar setup, which is that AUD/USD short. So every trade that I take, like I said, it gets dropped in here. So if I take a long, if I take a short, whatever reason, it's not just a signal service. I'm not a big fan of just like copying signals from people. The goal is to share the full breakdowns with every trade that I'm taking, share the insights and the details as to why I'm doing it, not just so that I'm not here to just tell people to copy me. Like I think that's a losing approach in trading. I think you sort of need to know what you're doing and why when you're trading, because if you don't, you could be driving yourself off a cliff and not even realize it, right? That's the danger of trading without risk management, the trading without proper, understanding of how to position size and things like that. So anyways, I'm still short, and later today or pretty soon after the stream, probably, I should update my position. If you guys are inside of the group, you'll see my update there sometime after. Ivan, good to see you in the stream. Ivan, we talked about the AUD USD short side. Did you catch any of it? I'm curious as to see if you caught any of that. There you are, cutie. Well, good to see you, Ivan. Thanks for being here. Yeah. So let's keep going. I won't keep talking about this. I know I've been talking about the AUD USD trade. I know some people are probably like, Nick, please do something else other than AUD USD. And I'm sorry. It's just when the trades are good, it's like, man, it's a nice feeling. And you have to, someone was saying, Nick, I think you're getting a little cocky with your AUD USD trades. And I don't mean that. I know this person, they didn't mean it like a mean way, but I was just like, yeah, you know what? I think I kind of am. I'm sorry about that. Like, honestly, because the thing is, when it comes to trading, there's so much time where it's break even and small losses and back and forth, that when it does finally come time that you're actually making some good moves, right? The market's playing out the way that you're liking to. Those are the times to really, weigh in and make your money, right? That's what we're here to do. Is I'm not every day is a profitable day, trust me, but when you are hitting it, that's the time to really keep doing what you're doing. And I will say this too. I also, I'm a big fan of when you take a win streak and you start feeling that little invincible feeling in the markets, which truthfully, anyone can feel. I feel sometimes, right? When you start getting to that point, I like to actually reduce my position size. And that's a tip that I learned from someone else that I know, that was one of their tips, is basically, if you feel like you keep winning and winning and winning, it's a good idea to just reduce your position size and take a chill pill and expect that a loss is coming around the corner, because we all take losses at one point or another. Okay, here's one, Euro USD. We'll take a look at Euro dollar. And oh my gosh, I mean, I haven't looked at this, you guys, for a little bit here, but I mean, this thing just keeps going to the downside. And same with a lot of these dollar pairs or things going against the dollar. The dollar just seems to be winning. Now, of course, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I can't short this, right? I cannot short this anywhere in this zone. I have to short this. If I was to short it, it would have to be at a retest of 61.8. Now, I'm going to say this, you guys. I have my trade open, right? So I'm not in a rush to take a whole bunch more. You guys, I'm short on the Aussie against the dollar. I'm holding that position. I'm letting it run. So I'm not going to rush into more trades. So I have that. I can afford to be a little bit pickier. And so for me, picky on this means this is a clean setup. Even if we know it's far away, right? I've got to wait. Right. And so I have my trades open, like I said, and so I don't have to rush into taking a whole bunch more trades. I'm not a big believer that you need to be trading all the time in order to make money. I'm a believer that you should just take the trade setups that are the highest probability for you, the lowest risk relative to the max reward that you can see yourself earning with that trade. And some other cool third thing, right? The idea is just take trades that you should trade. Don't force trades, because that's such a dangerous thing. I'm sure we've all done that before. Anybody else been like bored and they forced a trade on something just for the sake of it? It probably doesn't end well very often. Check gold. We'll take a look at gold soon. Don't worry. You're not cocky at all, buddy. Well, thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. I try not to be. I have a saying that I kind of live by in the markets when it comes to like building up an ego in trading. If you don't humble yourself when it comes to trading, the markets will do it for you. Like, that's just the truth. I've been in this game long enough. I know that if you get cocky, if you get arrogant, if you let your ego get to you and you start saying, man, I know how this thing moves, I know how the dollar does, and all that stuff, what ends up happening is you make a big mistake and you cost yourself, and the market humbles you on behalf of you, right? So you got to really be prepared for that. You got to be accepting that, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. When things are going well, great, make your money, do your thing, stay humble, stay realistic, and stay doing what works for you, right? Just consistently coming back and doing the same thing. Don't up your position size, don't get aggressive, don't feel, invincible. And it's hard, right? That's the psychology of trading is, people can mess up a win streak. And I've got a video coming out about that. Chandler, who is our editor here, he's working on that. We filmed something yesterday just about that topic. So stay tuned. We'll hear all about that soon. Yes, I sold at 0.7340 when I was live before you and currently up 13 pips. Hey, Ivan, nice, man. That makes me happy. I'm glad that you caught that same move. So Ivan in the chat with that same AUD USD concept. So very cool, man. What Ivan say? He said 73.40. Let's see. Did Ivan beat me? Oh, I think we're just about at the same spot, 73.40. Yeah, we shorted right around the same spot. Nice. That's cool. It's cool when you see trades or traders, you know, especially Ivan, who I've known for a while now. We take similar trades. That's cool to see. I simplified my trading by trading support and resistance zones, mark up the zones on the 4 hour, and then trade the 1 hour and 5 minute for entry. Hey, cool, man. That's awesome. Whatever is working for you, whatever you've been testing, whatever you've been finding that you have success with, whether you trade the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15-minute chart, doesn't matter really, as long as you've taken the time to go test that concept and make it work for you. And when I say make it work for you, what I mean is do the work, right? Not just like, oh yeah, I'll make it work for me. No, I'm saying go do the work, go do the back testing, go try things out, and make that system that you're looking at, figure out what works and avoid what doesn't. You know, I would say this, you guys, like almost, I can't put a number because I can't assume. But my best guess would be like 95% of traders, and even some of you guys in the chat right now, you've never done this. You've never taken the time to truly go sit down and back test a concept over and over and over, right? For example, let's talk about a really simple concept that you could go test. Would you guys want like a simple example of like something to go back test? Would that be helpful to you? Just drop a yes in the chat if you want me to talk about that for a second. But you know what I mean by testing, right? Sometimes you hear this word get thrown around. Go test it, go try it out. I'm not just saying go open your live account and go test it with that live account. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is taking a theory that you have about the markets. I'm a computer science major, so this kind of like this just makes sense in my head. You take a concept, you throw a hypothesis, it's like the scientific method, right? You come up with this idea, and then you go onto the charts and you actually go test that concept against historical data, right? That's what we call backtesting, and backtesting is incredibly helpful. It's not a guarantee that your system is going to work 100% going into the future, but what it's going to do is it's going to give you some clarity and a general sense of what may work for you. So, for example, okay, cool. You guys are saying yes. All right. Backtesting is critical. I spent the entire week in backtesting. Okay, John, I appreciate that, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. When I still do occasional backtesting, and that's exactly what I did back in college. I would sit around and backtest for fun. Like I love that stuff. It's really interesting. So here's an example of a backtest, right? So a simple backtest that you could try out. Let's say, and this is just a very, very simple example. Let's say that you're looking at the 1 hour chart, you're looking at pound dollar, and you say, just using two moving averages, the 50 and the 20, a very easily measurable backtest would be to say, when these cross over one another, and I take a trade and I hold it until it crosses back, how often do I make money? How often do I lose money? So a theoretical trade that would be here, you guys, would be just this simple concept. And this is where you can add to this. So don't get me wrong. The first experience where we see these things crossing officially to the downside, this would be a short that we took, right? So we would take this and we would say, okay, now I'm going to hold this position until it officially closes back the other direction. And this would be considered a loss. Okay. And so you would go into your thing and it's a very small loss, but it's basically break even. So then you would take that information and you would go and you would write that down in a piece of paper. You would write it on a notebook. I use Excel sheets when I back test, right? And then you just keep doing this. And this is boring as anything, but it is really, really important. So you could take that concept, and sure, there are going to be times where, your backtesting is great and there's going to be times where backtesting is bad. But what backtesting can do is it can add so much clarity to your trading. So here's an example of a time where price, let's say that, we waited for this to cross back over, the blue to cross over the green, and then we say a buy trade on the next open candle above that level. Bam. We hold that trade. We would be still holding it. Let's see where it would end. And it would keep going and going. And this would be an awesome trend following trade. It goes all the way till here. This is the first candle where things closed back, or the moving averages closed and back in the other direction, giving us a sell signal. So that one trade would be a huge winner, right? That is an example of a very simple back testable concept. And you can do this on, you start getting really, really big with your number of things that you can go test. You can test the 1 hour chart, the 15-minute chart, the 4-hour chart. You can start testing euro dollar, pound dollar, gold. You can trade USDJPY. Back testing is infinite. You can do so many tests and try things out. And what you start doing, you guys, is through back testing, you start building clarity. And more importantly, more important than what you find that works for you, more important, you find what doesn't work and that you're wasting your time doing. If you're out there and you're like, this is the tip that nobody wants to actually go back test and spend hours and hours and hours doing this. But I'm telling you, every profitable trader, if you seriously see yourself doing this for the long term, go spend an hour a day. That's, probably a reasonable, like if you're serious about your trading, an hour a day, testing your concepts, coming up with ideas, coming up with theories. And there, what you'll find if you spend enough time back testing is nothing is a holy grail. There is no magical system that's going to make you 80% of the time profitable with 3-to-1 risk to rewards. What you're going to find is through back testing, you will see that a lot of stuff is really pretty useless. And, eventually you spend enough time, you can find something that, oh my gosh, this is actually reasonable. I can actually trade this system and with some level of confidence, see myself consistently profiting. That's going to give you so much more confidence than trying to just guess at the markets, right? That I'm trying to stay 100% real with you guys. Buying someone's course that's going to try and tell you how to trade certain strategy that's going to make you profitable or whatever, that's very unlikely to work. What is very likely to work is to equip yourself. You're all smart enough. If I can do this stuff, you certainly can too. You're smart enough to go test concepts and to find things that may work marginally for you. And that is what backtesting is about. Franco says, Nick, you're fast becoming my favorite guy. Doing well on your insights. Still a few bad habits, but getting a lot better. Hey, Franco, that's awesome. We're here to improve 1% every day. That is the idea. Nick, why don't you trade HFX? If you're talking about MLM stuff, I'm not a fan of MLMs. I think they are, if you want to trade. If you want to be a marketer, in a MLM, then that's something different. And I'm not going to get into that because I've done that in the past, but I have a video that I would love for you to watch. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. And I everything that I say on this channel, you guys, I hope that you see now. If you watch my channel long enough, like I hope like I am not going to sugarcoat things for you. I'm not going to make them look better than what they are. When I show you trades, they're real trades. When I talk about experiences, they're real experiences. Like I try and keep it so real with you guys because otherwise it's exhausting. I couldn't just sit here and, fake stuff all the time. So I want to drop a video for you. If you are in an MLM, when it comes to Forex, which is a big lead generator for this industry. A lot of people come into Forex because of an MLM that sells them an idea or something like that. Not everybody in those MLMs are bad. And I'm not even coming after the people. I'm literally just saying, please, if you are in, I don't want to name names, but the big ones, right? You know the names that are out there for Forex multi-level marketing groups, places where you are learning Forex, but you're also trying to get your friends to sign up under you all the time. If that is you, I am not picking on you. I'm not trying to come at you, but please, I spent so many hours putting together this documentary, and I hope that you watch this start to finish and that you take my word for what I have to offer you here. So watch this video. I just dropped it in the stream. Like I said, I'm not going to name names. You guys know who is out there. There's a couple of them, but please, if you're stuck in an MLM and you're like, I'm spending so much money on this and I'm not actually able to recruit my friends and all that stuff, just be careful. Benedict, hi Nick. Thanks for what you do. Thank you so much for the 5 Canadian, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've learned a lot from your education on YouTube. Please, what moving average is that? The one that you just showed, 50 and the 20 is what I was using. It's just the 50 and the 20. So you could try that out. But again, you might try the 50 and the 20, or you might be more interested in using something like the 100 and the 50. Depends kind of the way you look at charts. I find that moving averages, right? If you're using the 20 and the 50, that's sort of a closer view. If you're looking at the 50 and the 100, that's a longer term, more candles, bigger picture view, right? And you might find that one is more suited towards you than others. Benedict, I hope that helps. Thank you very much for the 5 Canadian. You guys don't have to donate at all. I really don't ask for them on the streams, but when you do, it really means a lot. So thank you. Is there any way I can share my trades with you? If you'd like to jump in and have conversations with myself and others, we have a Discord channel for that. The link is down below in the description. It is not a free service, but if that's something that you'd like, then by all means, you can join there. USD, I'm up right now. Hey, nice, John. Congrats. Do you add to your trades? Occasionally, Andy. Actually, some of my best trades ever have been trades where I add more to them over time. So AUD USD is, I've been taking these trades consistently. I've been talking about them a lot, so I'm not going to harp on them too much. But I haven't been adding, but I have been re-entering. So I took a trade here, closed, took a trade here, closed, took a trade here, closed, right? So I've just been picking up trades. But there are occasions where I actually do add to a trade as it's going along. So like, for example, maybe this thing pulls back to a level and I decide to take another trade on top of my existing trade to the short side and looking for more downside. I have done that before. I'm not a big fan of adding to a loser, but I love adding to a winner. So that's kind of my personal approach. I think adding to a loser is a little riskier, but it's, just to each their own kind of thing. So yeah. Do you counter trade? I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but if you mean counter trend trade, then usually no. Nick, what if I adopted a backtesting strategy? Can I just forward test it with small risk? You could do Paulo. I would encourage you to try it on a demo account, right? The first stage so you do the back testing, right? You back test your concepts. You find something that looks reasonably promising to you, even if that's something that someone else showed you. As long as you back test it yourself and you feel comfortable, maybe from there you go test it on a demo account, and from there you can make your own decision if you decide you want to go put it on a small live account. That's kind of the natural order of things, and definitely what I've done in my own trading. So I didn't always trade real accounts with a pretty decent amount of capital in them. There was a time where I just didn't have that confidence yet, and I traded with much smaller size, and that's perfectly okay, right? Thank Nick for your time. How do you really spot when a trend is about to change, and what's the best risk management? I don't try and call trend reversals. Usually what I do is I just use structure to trail my stops. So I am a trend trader, so I am looking to go with this flow, not against it. And if it's going down, then I am looking to try and capture moves and then trail that stop behind it and run lower with it. I'm not usually trying to call the top or bottom of a trend. Okay, we'll take a quick look at gold for my friends who trade it, and we will jump into this. Hey, I think Chandler had something special for you guys, for all you gold crazy fanatics. Let's see if we can roll that. Chandler, let's see. Can we roll that? Let's see if he has it. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Is it in here? Maybe it is. What is this? Oh, that's the confetti. All right, maybe it's not in here. Does not exist. Okay, unfortunate. We will have to try that for next time. We had something fun, but one day at a time. We'll get there. Don't worry, you guys. Next time. Yes, indeed. Got the editor talking to me through the messages. That's hilarious. So yeah, so we'll take a quick look at gold for all you gold crazy traders. Everyone seems to love gold. I think it's because it's so volatile. So please be careful if you love gold. People love it because it can make a lot of money, but please understand that anything that can make a lot of money can also lose a lot of money. So be cautious out there. So take a look at gold here. We can draw a quick fib. The only real interesting level for me that I've talked about on yesterday's stream and carry on in thinking today is a pullback to 38.2. At that 1830 level, that's a huge zone of support. And I'd very much be interested in possibly taking a long trade should we dip back down to those zones. You know, you had a clean breakout here, clean bullish structure in this market. Big break on the 4-hour chart, kept going for a little while. And now the question is, you know, we saw this drop. If we see follow through down back to the 38.2%, I would say that's an area of interest for possible long continuation. That would be my take on gold overall. Hi, Nick. I really want to understand timeframes. Which time frame really determines price movement? Are smaller timeframes marker? They all contribute, Aaliyah. I personally like looking at the daily and the 4-hour chart as a swing trader, but it depends what you're trading. If you're trying to scalp the 5-minute chart, you're not going to get much clarity looking at the daily chart, right? It's kind of like within reference. So if I'm looking at the 5-minute, right, I may also look at the 15-minute and the 30-minute and maybe the 60-minute. Right. But if I'm looking at the 5-minute, I'm probably not going to look at the 4-hour or the 1 day or the weekly. Okay. So I would say my opinion is I like to look at things that are like 2 clicks away or 2 levels away. So if I was trading the 30-minute chart, I may look at the 60 and the 4-hour or the 1 hour and the 4-hour. That may be my reference point. If I'm trading what I usually trade, which is the 1 hour and the 4-hour, I like to trade the 60, the 4-hour and the daily. So I'll look at the daily and the 4-hour to get an idea and maybe execute my trades on the 60-minute. That's my personal opinion. That's not the right thing to do. That is just what I personally do. If you're looking at the 5-minute chart, the weekly chart gives you no like extra, in my opinion, like there's no benefit there. You're looking so high time frame. You're looking at something so out of context compared to the intraday moves that you're looking at. So in that case, maybe I'm looking at the 15-minute and the 30-minute, but I won't go much higher than that if I was to trade that. I don't personally trade those time frames. I find them to be a little bit fast paced. Sometimes I'll look at the 30-minute chart though. There's occasions, but usually I like to trade within this realm here. So yeah. So guys, that's going to wrap up the stream for me. That's all I've got for you today. I feel like today was a fun stream. Thank you very much for being here today. I know we didn't do a whole lot of technicals. We kind of kept it more on the theoretical and ideas side. But again, for me with the dollar right now, it's a time to make the money that we're in, right? I said, you know, I'm in this Aussie trade. I'm just letting it run, which is great, right? So it's not a time for me to take a bunch of trades. For me right now, the trades that I've taken, I've already shared inside of the VIP group. I'm sitting on them. I'm letting them run, and I'm looking to just make some profits on them now. So there's not a whole bunch of entries for me right now. There's way more just trailing stops, managing active positions, and trying to take some profits. So that's where I'm at with today. Thank you very much for being here today. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you back next time. What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's stream. It really does go way more than you know towards supporting this content and our team here behind the scenes that makes all of this content possible. Before you go, I want to invite you to join our free Telegram and our free Discord, which will both be linked down below in the description. We share trading ideas, we share tips and tricks, broker recommendations, things that may be helpful to you in your trading career. And again, it's completely free. So down below in the description, click those links, join us there, and we'll see you in the next stream.